What's up, everyone? My name is Stephen Michaels. I am with Phil Robinson. This is the Just Win Show. What's up, Phil?
What's going on, Steve? This is where we tell everybody about what the Raiders need to do in order to just win without any spin, without any bullshit. We get right to it, and we're going to give it to you hot and fast and get out like thieves in the night.
This is the uncensored, unofficial, but the best Raiders show you'll ever hear in your life because we tell it to you straight. It's all facts, man. All facts. So let's get right to it. What's up with topic number one?
Topic number one, the playoffs or bust.
All right. So as you guys know, Mike Mayock mentioned the playoffs, said that this is the season that they need to make the playoffs. And that weird little press conference he had where he ran out because he had to obviously talk to KJ Wright's agent. Playoffs or bust. It is playoffs or bust. It should have been playoffs or bust for the last 10, 15 years. So, they got to win. They got to get into the playoffs. I mean, there's a lot of people that are relying on the Raiders to make the playoffs. Guys like their quarterback, he needs to get this team into the playoffs or they will move on from that quarterback. What's your thoughts on this, Phil?
This shouldn't even be a question. It really shouldn't even be news because I wrote an article for the Ramble a couple days ago, and in it I said this. You hear, it's playoff. We expect to make the playoffs. Last year it was no excuses. The year before that it was we feel good about our team. Every year is the year, but at some point it has to be the year. And There's been a lot of draft capital that's been misused. There's been a lot of personnel issues that have come up that are obvious. And 4 years in for Gruden, 3 years in for Mayock, no playoffs is no good. They have to make playoffs. But go ahead.
Yeah, they have to make the playoffs this season. They have to make the playoffs. Your microphone was rattling around, so I couldn't hear what you said at the end. But basically, come on. Every team's goal is to make the playoffs. But this season, the Raiders need to make the playoffs. This is John Gruden. John Gruden has been the coach now. How many years has he been the coach now? This is the fourth?
Fifth year.
Fifth year. You got Derek Carr, who's been in the system now. It's time. The defense is much better. We'll get into it a little bit. The offense is very high octane offense, a lot of speed on that offense. There are no excuses, really. So throw away every excuse everyone has said for the past, I don't know how many years. Throw it all away. This team better just win this season, or a lot of people got to go. And, Mike Mayock making that comment, he's probably the first one going to be, gone if the Raiders don't make the playoffs because John Gruden is not going to fire himself.
No, not at all. But on to bigger and better things. Topic number two. Do the Raiders have the best linebacking core in the AFC West? I'll start it off. I'd be hard-pressed to find one that's better. Once the Raiders linebackers are all healthy and able to get on the field together, you're looking at a lot of quality guys who are going to be sitting on the bench. Corey Littleton is out there. You're going to have KJ Wright. You're going to have Denzel Perryman in the middle. You still have Kwiatkowski. You still got Morrow on the roster. You still got Javin White. You have you got a lot of guys that are interchangeable, a lot of guys that can do some different things. And you have a couple guys who've had a lot of success under Gus Bradley. But what you don't see is a lot of the old linebackers that they used to have on this roster. Aside from White and the safety converts, you don't see any linebackers that they drafted on here either.
Yeah, well, this is an area where, the Raiders definitely have the best linebacker group in the AFC West. There is no doubt about it. You got KJ Wright, you got Corey Littleton, you got, Denzel Perryman. they have the best linebacker group in the entire AFC West. No doubt about it. And it's about time because this is a team who, let's face it, they abandoned the linebacker position draft after draft after draft. They could have already had the best linebacker group. The amount of linebackers this team has passed up in the draft is just insane. So, I mean, credit to Gruden and I guess Mike Mayock, but we know Gruden is probably making all the calls there. Gruden bring in a bunch of veterans that already know the system, that already been with Gus Bradley. KJ Wright and Denzel Perryman. If Perryman is healthy and KJ Wright can, be as good as he is, this team is going to have a hell of a linebacker group, man. I mean, really, really good. A lot of speed there. That's good for, against Mahomes. I mean, they really, in a short period of time, really built a really good unit there.
No, that absolutely they did. They took what has been a glaring weakness for probably about the last 15 years, maybe dare I say 20, and turned it around and have something that is gives people optimism. I mean, I look at this Raider defense and I really feel like this is a top 15 defense. Like they definitely should be middle of the pack at worst. At worst, they should be a middle of the pack defense.
Stop doing that to your microphone, Phil. But anyways, but yeah, I mean, you got KJ Wright. I mean, when's the last time the Raiders had a big name like KJ Wright? I mean, this guy is gonna make such. Remember when fans were excited about Navarro Bowman? I mean, think about that. Navarro Bowman was the big, pick for the not pick, but
name
big signing for the Raiders, and he had one good year. Now they have 4 great linebackers instead of just one. I mean, so much better. I mean, it's so much better. You can't even compare this linebacker group to the past linebackers the Raiders have had. It's not even there's no way to compare it. It's just like they look like a real football team now with that linebacker unit. So let's go to topic number 3.
Topic number 3. What do the Raiders have to prove?
Do you want to go first?
I would love to go first. The Raiders have to prove, John Gruden has to prove that they are capable of winning. They've gotten everything that they could possibly ask for, gotten everything that you're supposed to have to be required in order to win. Brand new facility, brand new stadium, their own individual market, top chefs, top players. They have put together a quality roster. They got the best coaches. Everything that this Raiders organization was said to be promised. And they've got everything except for W's. They got everything except for playoff experience. They got everything except for hardware in the cabinet from the last 40 years. So they need to go out. They need to win. They need to do a lot of winning. They need to have sustained winning. They need to continue winning and have some longevity. But most importantly than not, they cannot collapse down the stretch again. People need to be fired if that happens. And a lot of them, I would dare say all of them need to be fired if there's another late season collapse.
Yeah, pretty much what the Raiders have to prove is they can win and be consistent in doing so. They can't just win 2 games and all of a sudden suck for the next 3. They need to keep winning. They need to stack up wins and not lose that momentum. Because what happens is, they have, look at last season. First week, against the Saints, a really good team. The Raiders win. I'm even guilty of it. I go on my podcast. I start talking all the shit in the world saying that the Raiders are finally going to be a good team. And then all of a sudden, here comes Buffalo. Here comes New England. And they just suck. Then they win a few more. Then they beat the Chiefs. Everyone's all happy. And then all of a sudden, they got to play Atlanta and get bitch smacked all over the field. Derek Carr's fumbling all over the place. So the Raiders have to prove that they are a legit contender. Derek Carr has to prove that he is a franchise quarterback because he's already been paid like a franchise quarterback. Gus Bradley has to prove that he is the guy that can remake this defense and make this defense, you know, a defense that can compete in the AFC West, a defense that can go up against Justin Herbert and Patrick Mahomes and whoever's the quarterback of the Broncos. What is it? Teddy Bridgewater? Shouldn't be a fucking problem. But that's what they have to do. They have to go in there and they have to be consistent. They have to win games. Being 500, not going to cut it. Winning 8 games, 9 games, not going to cut it. This team has to win 11 games, in my opinion. John Gruden has been trying to build this roster. He says he's getting better every day. Well, guess what? Now it's 5 years. It's time to make a splash. You got a brand new stadium. I mean, you have, look at their stadium. They're probably the best stadium in the entire NFL. You can't have a losing team and have that stadium, or that's just going to be a tourist attraction for other fans, for opposing fans. You have to make a team this season that have to go and just shock everyone, be competitive, get into the playoffs, build that fan base there in Nevada. They already have fans from LA and California and all that shit. They have to go out there and really show the world that they are the Raiders. They own the Vegas market, and they are a team that is now to be a force to be reckoned with.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it any better. And I tried.
Yeah, I know. I probably pretty good at it.
Moving right along to topic number 4, Raiders cut down to 53. Any surprises?
Go ahead.
As I was going to defer to you, but looking at this roster trim down, no, there really wasn't. It pretty much the only real surprises to me were a couple guys who didn't get cut. But when you look at the entirety of the roster moves, they weren't cut because they didn't really have to be. But in terms which would be Rashard, Nixon, Lawson, those would have been guys that I would have liked to have seen excused. But you had Isaiah Johnson get cut, and I'm going to be real with you guys. When I saw that picture, how far back he was off of that scrum, I was ready to cut him right there on the spot. But that's just me. But there was one guy, one particular player that was interesting, and I'll let you tell him about him, Steven.
Which one? The John Brown?
John Brown. Smoke.
John Brown. Okay, first of all, kind of knew John Brown was coming, right? He played the last preseason game. If you guys watched that game, notice who's out there. There's only about 2 or 3 guys that are actually on, the active roster. Most of the guys who are active players who you're gonna see in week 1 were not even at the game. They didn't even have to go and make the trip. But there's Brown out there playing wide receiver. He could not get any separation. He's going up against, it's not like, the first quarter, the 49ers had some of their, starters out there. But as you go along in that game, he's going up against scrubs, and he can't get separation. Nathan Peterman is literally getting killed. He looks like he's back in Buffalo where his soul is. He's getting destroyed. And what's up with this guy? John Brown can't do nothing. No separation. The whole speed factor, there is no speed. Now, I hope that's not the same case for Zay Jones, by the way. That guy's been getting a lot of hype, in the off season. But, I read that story before. I've seen the movie before. Last off season, they said the same thing about that guy, and he didn't end up showing up. I hope,
That's not his fault. Zay Jones gets open. His quarterback has got to throw to him the ball. Zay Jones has been getting open.
Sometimes he gets open. I can't say every time he gets open. He needs to get more separation too, but he does look a lot better than he did last season. He just looks faster. He looks better. So hopefully he is. But this John Brown character, come on. He cannot get separation off the second, third unit of the 49ers defense. He's got to go. And when he was lined up out there, I already knew he was being cut. He was disposable at that point because you don't see Willie Snead. You don't see, anyone else, Hunter Renfrow, any other wide receivers. You see him, Keenan Doss, which you knew he was gone. I mean, that's a disappointment right there because Doss actually looked very good at the start of camp, and then he just had a decline. I don't know what happened, but
Route running
just a
was
decline.
sloppy, is what it was. If you go back
Yeah,
and if you go back and look at the tape, you can see it's like his route run, his brakes are not sharp.
no, you know what? It looks like. I mean, he looked good in practices. I get again. I'm not at the practices in Las Vegas. I'm just going off of the 1,000 articles that are written in video. But listen, this guy looked good early, and then all of a sudden, when it comes to these preseason games, he doesn't look good. He starts. It's like he doesn't care. I don't know what the deal is, but yeah, no really surprises to me. I knew Derek Carrier was. I mean, he came back anyways. So when he was initially cut, I didn't really buy it, and I right away I found out that he wasn't really cut. He was already told we're gonna put you on, say you're released, but you're not really released. I mean, the guy was practicing the next day. He was never really cut. There are guys that I think should have been cut. Dalian Levitt, whoever the hell his name is, that guy.
Love it.
Yeah, I don't mean who cares. I mean, really, the guy sucks. He shouldn't ever be on a defense. Hopefully, he's never out there. But yeah, really no surprises. I knew Trey Ragus wasn't going to be the third running back. All those undrafted guys. I mean, John Gruden pretty much told everyone before the season even started that all those guys, it's almost going to be impossible for them to make the active roster. I mean, he told the media that. He told everyone that. So, I knew he wasn't going to be the third running back. Now, if something happens, I think he can come in and, we can see what he can do. But, they signed a guy today. I forgot his name already. But,
Hayden Barber.
Yeah, I mean,
Washington's practice squad. Really, if you want to remember him, he actually was part of the two-headed monster in Tampa Bay before they switched it up with what's the dude's name? Ronald Jones.
Yeah. Just to let everyone know, the Raiders were really trying to get Dante Freeman.
Dante Freeman, yeah, big Texas back.
Yeah, they were trying to get him, and apparently they couldn't. I don't think he signed anywhere else yet, though. I'm not sure. But they were trying to get him. They couldn't get him. If he's still available, I wouldn't be shocked if they end up getting him. And then the guy they signed, they throw him in the practice squad, and then they take someone off the practice squad. The merry-go-round, which happens every off season. So we're going to see this, guys, for everyone listening at home. You're going to see people get signed, not to the practice squad because the practice squad's full right now, but on the active roster. Then they'll have to take someone on the active roster, put it on the practice squad, then cut the guy in the practice squad, sign someone back. It's going to be a little circus for the next couple of days here. But hopefully they find their third running back. I don't believe this is the guy. I could be wrong. It might look fantastic.
I don't either.
We'll see. I mean, please prove me wrong, whatever the hell your Barber, whatever the hell your name is. Go out there and beat a third running back. But remember, the Raiders have, Josh Jacobs, who's fully healthy. They have Kenyon Drake, who I think is going to be amazing this season. And they have Alec Ingold, who's probably had the best camp so far. He's been route running. He's been doing pretty much everything. He's been running the ball a lot during training camp. So I think he's going to get more carries as well. So you could perhaps use him as a third back, but he doesn't really have the speed, But for a third down back, 3rd and 1, you can use Alec Ingold for that type of shit. But we shall see. So let's get to question number 5, or topic number 5.
You finale. How does the Raiders secondary measure up? Let me take the ball and run with this on. They have some ball hawks out there. They have Casey Hayward may be old and he may be slow, but he's still good. And in this defense, he can be exactly where he needs to be, which is all he really needs to do. So I think that Trayvon Mullen is going to be the very big beneficiary of Ron Milas's coaching and being under Bradley's system. I like what they're going to do for him. You've seen some better play out of Arnett and Amik Robertson, but the two stars of this secondary are going to be Nate Hobbs and Trayvon Moore. Excuse me. Both of those guys have been making plays all preseason against every competition they played against, be it the Raiders receivers, be it the Rams receivers, be it the preseason receivers. They've all made it happen. And I'm excited that we finally have players in positions who are capable of making plays, who look to make plays. Because part of the problem that you saw with the defense last year was that these guys weren't even close enough to make a play if they wanted to, much less actually convert a turnover.
Well, Phil, remember, they had Eric Harris and Jeff Heath as their, I mean, come on. It was a complete shit show. You know, they had your high school gym teacher, Paul Gunther, as their defensive coordinator. I mean, it was a shit show. These guys, the only thing I worry about is the guys you just mentioned are those young guys at safety. You know, I think the Raiders probably should have kept some kind of veteran back there.
Better, Steven. Those young guys.
Yes. I'm not doubting that at all. Anyone's better than what they had, but there's no experience there. Trayvon Moore, remember, he didn't play a lot in preseason, and preseason is not like, the regular season. So the only thing that worries me is that the speed of the game is going to be a lot faster than what he is expecting. That worries me. Same thing with Nate Hobbs. I mean, you got to remember the speed of the game is so much different than college to the NFL. So I hope, because remember, these, they didn't play a lot in preseason, and even when they're playing in preseason, they're not playing against, first stringers most of the time. So that's something that concerns me. I hope Mullen can take the next step and be that, great cornerback, because the Raiders drafted a lot of DBs. These guys got to step it up. Amik Robertson, I think, played very well in preseason. Had a couple blunders, but played pretty good in preseason. So I'm excited to see how he does. Damon Arnett, he's always up and down, that guy. He can make some really great plays, or he can look like complete dog shit. We just don't know. But I do think with Casey Hayward there, that's going to be a big plus, because I still think he has gas in the tank. I think he's going to be fine. I'm excited about Trayvon Moore, even though, I'm worried about the speed and all that stuff. This guy, he can make some plays, and Nate Hobbs coming in. This is a guy known for turnovers. Maybe he can create some turnovers, because at the end of the day, that's what this defense really needs, is turnovers. So this secondary, compared to last year's secondary, even though there's a lot of unknowns, with the rookies, they're still better. They are still better. I would rather take these unknowns this season than what we already knew, with these guys last year. Those guys last year, they just were not good. I mean, every team in the NFL could throw in the middle of the field anytime they wanted to. So hopefully that ends, and hopefully Jonathan Abram finds a new direction there on defense. Don't put them in coverage too much, because that never works out good. Just send them on blitzes and things like that. And Trayvon Moore, Casey Hayward, and Mullins. If Mullins cannot be so erratic and just stay home, I think he can be pretty good. Same thing with Damon Arnett, by the way. I think they try too hard, and sometimes by doing that, they want to make a play so bad they burn themselves. They just got to stick to what they know, stick to what their coaches tell them, basic fundamentals, no mental errors, and these guys will be good. I think they'll be good enough to hold down the fort there in the secondary. And here's the good news to all Raider fans. The defense literally cannot be any worse than they were last season. It's impossible. It is impossible to be that bad. So if they can be 15th, 16th in the NFL, that's a big plus for Gus Bradley and the Raiders defense.
No, absolutely. This is a better overall team. Defensively, probably the best team that I've seen in the last 20 years for sure, except for maybe 2006.
Yeah, I mean, and we got a lot of young guys too. Got to wait to see how they play. But I mean, if it all comes together, they got Ngakwe. They got we know all about him. They got Crosby. We've seen it. We know what he can bring. And with like we already mentioned, the linebackers alone are going to help everyone. They're going to help that defensive line. They're going to help that secondary. They are pretty much running what Gus Bradley ran, in Seattle, basically. So if these guys can ball out like that, they're going to be pretty good. And they might surprise a lot of people because a lot of these teams are going to come in and think, oh, yeah, we killed the Raiders last season. Let's just do exactly what we did last year. And they're going to get a big surprise when you have, Ngakwe tearing people apart. You got Max Crosby on the other side. You got Nate Hobbs running all over the place. You got Jonathan Abram, hopefully not running into a camera, but running into the quarterback. We got a lot of good things going on here. So fans should be excited. The offense looks explosive. There's no doubt about that. The defense, they are definitely better than last year. And I'm excited about the secondary. I can't wait to see them play. I hope they're ball hawks. I hope Nate Hobbs is great. And I want to see Amik Robertson take that next step. I want to see Damon Arnett, more importantly, take that next step. Remember, he was a first-round draft pick after all. We can't have another bust. We already have one bust, Clinton Farrell, who hasn't played very well. So Damon Arnett has to come through here for us. He does.
I would agree.
But all right. So with that being said, that's it. That's the last topic. Me and Phil will be back. What, Monday, right, Phil?
Yeah, we could do Monday.
Yeah, Monday. I think we'll let you guys know. I think it's Monday. We will be back. We're going to be doing 3 shows to the public. Then after that, we're taking this thing to the next level. You're going to want to join us, guys, because it's going to get better and better and better. I promise you. So, Phil, you got anything to promote?
We got Levi Edwards coming on the Unfiltered Truth show that me and Phil Jones do. We're going to have this one will be on Saturday rather than Friday. And so we'll do a little breakdown, a little up to date of everything that is going on with the Raiders reporter. And just a little more in depth to keep covering everything that happens as it happens to let all of you guys know what's going on.
All right. And obviously right here, the Just Win show. This is where it's at, man. This is where it's at. This is where you're going to hear everything uncensored, straight. You're going to want to hear what we have to say because we are the voice to the voiceless for you, the Raider Nation. All right, everyone. My name is Stephen Michaels. That's Philip Robinson. Go catch the Unfiltered Truth on Saturday as they interview some Raider reporter. And we will see you guys later. So until then, this is the Just Win show.